Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Who isn't quite in the room yet? And we have so much going on here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Chattanooga. People are busy getting coffee and planning auctions, and I know they're coming in. So we'll just get started with a greeting from Sherry Woodbury. Again, we reground ourselves here in our highest values. Love is the center and the foundation of this faith. Love is the power that holds us together as a community. As we enter into worship, then, let us open our hearts to the healing power of liberating love. Because love is not only something we receive, but something we practice in community. Let fall away all that might distract us from the wholehearted practice of love. Let us be accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. As we continue to listen and learn to act and grow, may each unfold in wholeness, both deeply loving and truly loved. And now I'd like to invite Rich up, our resident. Oh, wait, I want to say who I am. You can come up, but I'm going to say who I am. Good morning. I am Reverend Mandy Goheen. It is my honor to serve this congregation, this community, and to be the center focal point for love today. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a little tired. I've had a bad back this week. I promise that I am present and here with you today and excited to talk about somebody who inspires me named Bell Hooks. Please join me in our chalice lighting words. In the light of truth, in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Yay. So this is the extrovert's favorite time of our service, when we get to stand up and greet people. And I am giving a little more direction to this practice today. I am curious if you had a celebration in February, perhaps a birthday. If you were someone with a birthday in February, maybe you want to stand up, raise your hand, make yourself known. No one here had a birthday in February. This is a failing. I see a birthday. Happy birthday. What if someone had an anniversary in February? I already knew that one. What if, oh, good one. Okay. It could be any kind of anniversary. What if you are just celebrating some special event or milestone? Anyone? Oh my gosh. Stand up and greet your neighbor as you will. Congratulate the folks who are celebrating milestones. Say happy birthday anyway. Good morning, good morning. I know, I'm like, uh-oh. Lynn Boshears because I've been sick. It wasn't the same. Hi. Good morning. How are you? What? I knew people would come. Oh, 20 how many? Oh, cool. Hey, welcome. I've heard this story, I think. I can't remember it off the top of my head. All right, everyone. Rich is going to help us sing. Please rise in body and or spirit and join us in our opening song, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in the us, every color, every created Okay, I found this kid's book. And of course I had to get it for us, because if anybody knows, I'm a fan of chickens. And I love chickens, and I didn't know that I had something in common with John Lewis, which is I talk to my chickens and they listen so attentively. So Camille has agreed to read our story for all ages. I generally don't copy all the pictures, but the watercolors are so fabulous. And we are celebrating Black History Month, and I think this is another one of those stories I just didn't know, and I'm excited to share. So, Camille.
Hello. I'd like to invite all the children and those young at heart to come on up and sit with me.
That's the worst spot to sit in the whole church. You get blinded.
My name is Camille. I'm the Director of Religious Education, and I'm so excited to read this with you. So, yeah, come on up. We've got plenty of room. Hello, come on. All right, so this story is called Preaching to the Chickens. Hi, Eliza. Yeah. And you guys can see the pictures on the screen, okay? And then Rev Mandy got me this fancy iPad so I can see the pictures in front of me. So let's do this. All right, Preaching to the Chickens, the story of young John Lewis. Little John Lewis loved the spring. He loved it not only because it was the time when the whole planet came alive, but also because it was the season of chicks. Winter was too cold to bring them safely into the world, and summer was too hot. But spring was just right. Everyone on the farm had work to do. Work and put your trust in God, John's mama liked to say, and God's going to take care of his children. Trusting in God was easy. Work was a harder bargain. There was just so much to do on a huge farm in southern Alabama. Every March, John's father hitched the plow to a stubborn old mule. "Giddy up," he'd shout, and together they'd break new ground, carving lines in the earth. In the fall, after months of planting, weeding, and tending, the cotton would be ready for picking. John's mother cooked the family meals from vegetables she grew, collards, tomatoes, sweet potatoes, and other goodies. She cleaned the family's clothes in a big iron pot, stirring them in the boiling water and washing them with homemade soap before hanging them on the line to dry. Yes, Lord, plenty of work on a farm. John was excited to be put in charge of the chickens. There were about 60 of them, Rhode Island Reds, strong-winged bantams, Dominiques with gray stripes as dull as dishwater, and legs as yellow as daisies. John loved to see them flutter and strut and flap their wings. Every day, John got up early and fed them dried corn just shelled from the cob, then lined their nests with fresh straw. "Cluck, cluck, cluck," the chicken said. John knew they meant thank you. Can you guys speak chicken?
I can.
Cluck, cluck, cluck. In a soft voice, John would say to them, "Enjoy this day that God has given us." The chickens looked straight at him, seeming to understand. As much as John loved spring, he loved church even more. On Sundays, the whole family headed to services. John and his brothers were dressed in slacks and crisp white shirts, his sisters in neat dresses. Outside the church, friends and relatives greeted each other with big smiles. Can you guys relate to that? Coming to church and seeing big smiles? Yeah? Inside, voices joined in song. John often listened to gospel and country music on the radio. He enjoyed it, but he found his favorite music of all in church, plain voices praising God without any instruments at all. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. As the worshipers clapped and sang, John felt the Holy Spirit rock in the room. It reminded him of the peace he felt when he roused the chickens from slumber and led them into the light of a brand new day. Like the ministers he heard in church, John wanted to preach, so he gathered his chickens in the yard. John stretched his arms above his flock and let the words pour forth. The chickens nodded and dipped their beaks as if they agreed. They swayed to the rhythm of his voice. John's brothers and sisters couldn't tell one bird from another. John knew every one of them, and he had a line of verse for each of them. "Blessed are the peacemakers," he'd say when they fought over their morning meal. "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness," he would tell a hen who didn't want to share, "for they shall be satisfied." One day, the rolling store man stopped by to make a trade. His truck was packed with flour, sugar, cooking oil, and bolts of cloth in bright colors. "I've plenty of good things," he said to John's mom and dad. "I'll give them to you for a healthy hen." But John did not want to part with any of his chickens, and he knew they wanted to stay with him. He convinced his parents there were other things to trade, like eggs and seeds. The chickens stayed on the farm, and John learned to speak up for those who can't speak for themselves. When the hen called Big Bell fell into the well and got stuck, John was determined to save her. He filled a basket with breadcrumbs, and when he lowered it down, she climbed in and was pulled to safety. "God makes miracles every day," John preached. "When you're down, he lifts you up. Sister Big Bell, I believe you know what I mean." "Cluck, cluck, cluck," Big Bell replied. John knew she meant amen. John even baptized the chicks, bathing them in water from an old syrup can, but Lil Pullet had stayed under too long and appeared to have drowned. John prayed over her and laid her in the sun, and after a while she began to breathe again and soon was up on her feet. "He can heal the sick," John declared, "and raise the dead. Lil Pullet, can I get a witness?" "Peep, peep, peep," said Lil Pullet. John knew she meant amen. John loved to tell the hens and chicks the good news. While he fed and watered them, he spoke about the value of hard work and patience. With faith and hope, he said, a bountiful harvest was sure to come. John's henhouse sermons became so regular that his brothers and sisters took to calling him preacher. He didn't mind. He knew that someday he'd speak before thousands. He hoped that his words would stir people's souls and move them to action. For now, though, he had his own church right here among the pine trees and rolling hills of southern Alabama. Morning would find him in his usual place, preaching to the chickens. Thank you all for reading with me. If you'll help me sing the children downstairs.
Wow, it filled up since I said hello. Thank you for enjoying that story and feeling the joy and laughter and kindness of John Lewis. I was sitting by someone in the front row in the yellow shirt. And, the John Lewis. Yes, we both preached to chickens, so I feel good about that. The world, y'all. It has been a week again. It feels like I say that every week. We have some opportunities coming up to create spaces where we have some safer legislation. I want to urge everyone to pay attention to politics this week, although I don't get to say exactly what I think or feel or how or who, because That's part of religious freedom and separation of church and state. I would urge folks to pay attention this week. This is an opportunity, and I would like to invite Rich up, for you to come forward and share, not just by being embarrassed for standing up because it's your anniversary, but share your joys and your sorrows and your everyday aches and pains with this community. We are a folk that believe in science, and one of the things that happens when we take that pain and bring it forward and light that flame, there's a scientific thing happening, but also it helps us release and share what is in our hearts. It is a process. Ritual is important to us. It comforts us and helps us grow. And what a gift to have that ritual of lighting candles here. And with that, I invite you forward to light a candle. Oh. Spirit of love, spirit of light, spirit that we don't quite understand every day, even when we're certain. Surround us and surround the joys and concerns we were ready to bring forward today, but especially surround with tender care and new ideas and creativity, the things that are hurting us. Know that there is more than we could ever bring forward to light candles for, and that love centers us on expressing our need and receiving from others. May it be so. Oop. There we go. Our reading today is by bell hooks. It is the first 6 verses of Appalachian Elegy. I'm from Southern Ohio. I say Appalachian. Hear them cry. The long dead, the long gone, speak to us from beyond the grave. Guide us that we may learn all the ways to hold tender this land. Hard clay, direct rock upon rock, charred earth in time. Strong green growth will rise here. Trees back to life, native flowers, pushing the fragrance of hope, the promise of resurrection. Such then is the beauty surrendered against all hope. You here again, turning slowly. Nature as chameleon, all life change and changing again. Awakening hearts, steady moving from unnamed loss into fierce deep grief that can bear all burdens, even the long passage into the shadowy dark where no light enters. Night moves through thick, dark, heavy silence outside. Near the front window, a black bear stamps down plants, pushing back brush, fleeing man-made confinement, roaming unfettered, confident, in any place can become home, strutting down a steep hill as though freedom is all in the now, no past, no present. Earthworks, thick brown mud, clinging, pulling a body down. Heard wounded earth cry, bequeathed to me the hope, ancestral rights to turn ground over, to shovel and sift until history is rewritten, resurrected, returned to its rightful owners. A past to claim, yet another stone lifted to throw against the enemy, making way for new endings, random seeds spreading over the hillside, wild roses come by fierce wind and hard rain, unleash furies here in this touched woods, a dirge of lamentation for earth to live again, earth that is all at once a grave, a resting place, a bed of new beginnings, an avalanche of splendor. Small horses ride me, carry my dreams of prairies and frontiers where once the first people roamed, claimed union with the earth, no right to own or possess, no sense of territory, all boundaries placed by unseen ones here. I will give you thunder, shatter your hearts with rain. Let snow soothe you, make your healing water clear, sweet, a sacred spring where the thirsty may drink, animals all. Listen, little sister, angels make their hope here in these hills. Follow me, I will guide you, careful now. No trespass, I will guide you, word for word, mouth for mouth, all holy ones embracing all of our kin, making home here. Renegade, marooned, lawless fugitives, grace these mountains. We have earth to bind us. The covenant between us can never be broken. Vows to live and let live. What are you supposed to say after that? Other than, I am humbled by reading those words. I'm humbled to know someone else connects to these mountains and this place with the same deepness and the same reverence of return. And I'm humbled to know that in that, the speaking of love from bell hooks is phenomenal. Last week, first, let's see how beautiful she is. Okay. Last week we talked about Audre Lorde. We talked about Kimberly Crenshaw Johnson and her We're going to go to the next slide just so you can see. Back to the intersectionality. And one of my goals, one of my callings in this planet has been to stop focusing so deeply on the trauma in our history, because it is important to be recognized, but also how our resilience works and manifests. And last week I said something about the master's tools cannot be used to dismantle the master's house, but I think that sometimes the tools can be reformatted and repurposed in a way that gives us focus and meaning in our life. Now I want to remind you the definition of intersectionality from her. Intersectionality is a metaphor for understanding the ways that multiple forms of inequality or disadvantage somehow compound themselves to create obstacles that often are not understood among conventional ways of thinking. Okay. I also did a little shade towards the academy last week, and I want to reframe that. I think that academic pursuits are what makes probably anyone in this room semi-Unitarian Universalist. I think that we come together for understanding in new ways and contexts in new ways of understanding. So I thought it would be interesting to take the concept of Bell Hooks's definition of love and then take the idea of intersectionality and see how that works. See how it works out for us when we look at the different things that Bell Hooks defines as love. And it says, to truly love, we must learn to mix various ingredients. I like how she talks about it as if it is a recipe. We may have to run to the store sometimes, right? We don't always have all of this. Care, affection, recognition, respect, commitment, and trust, as well as honest and open communication. And I am going to leave this up here so we can be looking at it, but I want to talk about honest and open communication in the context of love today. One of the first chapters in this book, and it's on the cover of your order of service, so you don't forget, all about love. It's the 25th anniversary of it coming. It's on NPR right now. There's a lot of uplifting with it, and it was Valentine's Day, and it's about relationships, and it's really helpful. So I'm going to challenge us to pick up or learn about this book this year. There are so many fundamental principles in it that will help us understand what love is like, not only in public, as Cornel West says, because that's what justice is, but at home, to ourselves, and how we use it as an action, not just something that we don't quite understand. Well, I love them, but I also said, bless your heart. Like how do we traverse around that? We use those placations, as we say, to express love when we are uncomfortable. I have let go of that might have happened for a reason a long time ago, but still, maybe if this wouldn't have happened, comes out of our mouth a lot. And guess what? We're in the South. Did you know that? And we lie to each other all the time. How are you today, Skip? Great. I did really want to know because I love Skip. But the person who asked doesn't really generally want to know. Have you run into that? Uh-huh. Have you ever told someone who asked how you actually felt? Was that received well? Not always. One of the most shaming moments in church for me as a young mother of wiggly children who kicked the pew in front of me over and over again. I sat on their legs. In Catholic church, the kids sit there whether they like it or you like it or not. And this woman asked me at the end of church how I was doing, and boy, did I tell her. I was like, this sucked. I can't believe these kids, blah, blah, blah. And she went, oh, I'm really sorry. Every time you talk to me, you tell me something awful. And I was like, I thought this was church, first of all. Second of all, the expectation for me to say, fine and you, is what was there. She didn't want to know. So how do we greet people if we really don't want to know what's wrong with them? Well, we might be in trouble right there already, right? The beauty, once again, of this ever-building community is we do have a place to practice how we greet each other with care. Please don't say to someone, and I've said this before because it's a lie, call me if you need something. Nobody's going to remember if they are hurting to call you if they need something. A different way to do it would be like, hey, I could bring you soup. Somebody could say no, but at least there's an actionable item. Bless their heart. They try so hard. I heard someone say, bless their cotton socks the other day. That's one of my favorite ones. Obviously, they're in trouble if you're thinking about their socks. But what are we teaching people around us who are looking at our relationships for examples of how to be in the world, aka younger folks than me, children and teens? Like when we lie to each other as adults all the time about how we're feeling, and then we expect them to tell us the truth. And does it always go well when they tell the truth? Do you remember being a teenager and telling the truth bravely to your parents? Anyone? Did it go well? No. It's this strange message we send, and it's all tangled in with what love is, that honesty isn't love. And I think that's a problem. I think we don't have enough time and enough practice about how to talk to each other about what's going well with us, first of all, right? Second of all, we don't think about the recipe or the tools we have for loving someone to help them. Please don't say to a tired, exhausted parent of a kid who's been struggling, you should take better care of yourself. You should love yourself more. Everyone, yeah. I've heard that before. It makes me feel like crap, right? First of all, it makes people think to be loved, they don't deserve to not have a good day. What happens if you come here and you're having a bad day and you tell someone and they know exactly what you need to hear? They have the hug you've been waiting for. They have the thing that resets your brain. They have the thing to say that takes you outside of your suffering and your pain and puts you in a space of seeing creativity and answers you didn't see before. And I want to say, without honest and open communication, it's real hard to get there. It's really hard to teach people to be honest when it is kind of dangerous, isn't it, sometimes? We're not praised for being honest. We laugh about it when kids are really honest about our hair, and I had a compliment one time that was honest and a compliment, and this child just said in a very southern way, "What happened to your hair?" And I didn't know, because I'm always doing something different, but children have the truth on their tongues. They bring it to us. They're our teachers. And when we squelch that truth-telling, we don't send them a message that it's okay to be truthful throughout their lives. And when they come to church and hear us not being honest with each other, we're in trouble, right? So we have to think about what the other elements of love are and how they can inform and how they can intersect and layer and make it easier for us to express kindness and truth at the same time. So if we look at this intersectionality and we think of the layers, chickens and John Lewis, I literally had no idea. But when I saw that book, I was like, guess what we're going to have for Sunday at church? Like, I had no idea that, first of all, I wasn't the only one that talked to chickens like that. And without being brave and loving people and be honest, you don't find things out like that. I do not want to discount the intellectual pursuit of understanding what love means. And Bell Hooks, that was very important to her too. And this is what she has to say about that. She says, imagine how much easier it would be for us to learn how to love if we began with a shared definition. Love is a wishy-washy word, right? We don't quite know what the definition is, and we don't stand for it. The word love is most often defined as a noun, yet the more astute theorists of love acknowledge that we would all love better is if we used it as a verb. She spent years searching for a meaningful definition of the word love and was deeply relieved when she found M. Scott Peck's classic self-help book, The Road Less Traveled. Folks have heard of that, right? Explaining love. He defines it as the will to extend one's self for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. Explaining further, he continues, love is as love does. Love is an act of will, namely both as an intention and an action. Will also implies choice. We do not have to love. We choose to love. Must be made to nurture and grow. When we choose to love, we must make it nurture and grow. And that's what this list is about. It is her tools of how to make that love nurture and grow, how to use it as an action. Bell Hooks is a buddy of somebody else I love named Cornell West. And he says something about hope, which always helps me reset when I think about where's the hope in these answers. And I say this a lot. I may not be an optimist, but I am a prisoner of hope. Hope helps us center on love and make the choice to love by not saying bless your heart, by asking how someone is and taking the time to listen. And if we don't have the time to listen and we notice someone is in need, circle back and ask later. Check on them. Here's the part. Do you know how like the Pay It Forward movement has this infectious piece to it where when people see it, they might do it? Like you pick up trash on the side of the road. Somebody's driving by and they see you picking up trash and they pick up the next piece of trash. Love can manifest and be used the same way. When people see us loving each other, saying hello, opening doors for each other, making sure people have access to care, then we are sharing hope and love. And we're doing it as an action word. When we come here to a place and we have a problem and we're maybe not getting along, we focus and center on love. It is our covenant. And when we mess up, the covenant has the great part to begin again in love. And sometimes I just go to that. I skip the rest of it. Let's just begin again in love. And that is especially true for myself. Because not only are we critical for others for having feelings, we are self-critical for having feelings, for not being perfect, for not presenting perfection, all-togetherness. And sometimes pajamas and a bowl of soup in a comfy chair is together as we need to be, right? Sometimes listening to our favorite music. Sometimes holding the hand of a beloved. Sometimes just coming here and having a cup of coffee and being able to say snarky political things is a way of loving ourselves and manifesting and spreading hope. The tricky part is not to be performative, right? Like I don't want you on taking pictures in front of some place giving people benevolent gifts. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like being out there doing the thing this week to spread love and hope. Have an extra leftovers you think you're going to throw away? Make a plate of food. Drop it off to the first person you see. We have a person here who has a practice of keeping gift bags in her car. They have bottles of water and hand warmers, some snacks in them. When she pulls up to a corner and somebody's in need, she gives them that bag. Put $5 in it. Take it a step further. Our social justice moment will focus in a moment on unhoused neighbors. Let's do more than just join some organization to be benevolent. Let's practice benevolence every day. Let's practice love. Because the more we practice it with people outside, the easier it is to practice it in home. And what I want to leave you with is just a little teaser for coming up this summer. We're going to use Bell Hook's book to talk about relationships. I said that already, but we're going to talk about, in Unitarian Universalism, we don't remember to talk about love and relationships. We think we can just do it. We're going to go through this goofy sermon series this summer called First Comes Love or Not, Second Comes Marriage or Not, Baby Carriage or Not. You know, it'll go through the all, and breaking up is hard to do, and we're going to use this book to focus on. So I challenge anyone who is here today to read this book, check it out, learn more about bell hooks before this summer. Also, like, what a good primer for everyday learning, because each chapter goes through each one of these items in her recipe for love and really breaks it down. It is a little bit more romantic, but it's so applicable to every day. And the thing that I love the very most about it was she said something that shook me to the core. And how can she keep doing this to me? But she said, and I'd never thought of it this way, justice starts at home with love. And I keep saying that we're here to practice that and spread it out in the world. And I have now had a new awakening to that, as we can practice it here to take it home, too. And we can practice love no matter where we go, because we know that it's a verb. May it be so, and blessed be. And now I'd like to invite social justice moment, Judith Pedersen-Ben. You got a microphone right there, friend. All right.
Wow, I'm not sure what to say after all of that, all of those wonderful words. So I will say, though, that when justice starts at home and you don't have a home, then you need it from other folks. And so hopeful that we will all begin the process of, in one way or another, befriending those who are homeless. So last week we talked about the origins of homelessness, and we kind of left it at the New Deal, and we talked about how Native American folks and black folks were pretty much left out of the New Deal. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the politics of homelessness. So as you can imagine, from the time of the 1930s on towards the 1990s, homelessness, especially for those groups of people, got worse. Here's what happened in the 1960s, and you're probably all familiar with this, but this is just a little reminder. Mental hospitals, community-based housing, and support resources were deinstitutionalized, resulting in homelessness for tens of thousands of Americans who were using those resources. So in 1968, we had something that was passed called the Fair Housing Law, but it was never really fully implemented. When I was in an undergraduate, the sociology department did a research program, which I was part of, where a white person would go and apply to an apartment, that would be me, and then a black person would go and apply for the apartment, and they would get it and I would. Now, that's how serious this still is, although it's better now, and I'm going to talk about how it got better. We still had a lot of gentrification and housing discrimination going on. However, and the public housing kept being reduced. In the 2000s, it took until the 2000s for us to really begin to address the issue. And we started finding that we got changed in the federal, state, and local initiatives to address homelessness. And finally, under President Barack Obama, there was a federal strategic plan which was brought in to deal with the issue of chronic homelessness. And so by 2019, we had some pretty strong groups who were working to implement what they called the American Rescue Plan, and money got invested in it. And it's now an issue that most everyone knows about, but for a long time it wasn't. But we can be grateful that the federal government, some state governments, have finally begun to recognize homelessness as a problem and to put energy and money into it. So we have some good news. And also invite you, there's a social justice display out there, and under it you have how to help a homeless or an unhoused person. So these are things you can do. And thank you all for listening.
Thank you. So this is usually our Donate the Plate Sunday, and I want to share some news that was a little sad for me to find out. One of the traditional people that we donate the plate to is Doors Open Jazz. I think I said it in the right order. But I found out since Steely Bruno was here last year that he had passed away from cancer, and I was really shocked to find that out. And he was somebody who has been really important to me. He helped arrange during COVID to get my kids music lessons. I mean, was a wonderful human. So we're not donating the plate today. So I was thinking about what can we use to inspire our giving today. And I was thinking about the music here. And I was thinking about our young accompanists today. And how we also open space for youth and all of us really to be part of the music, and Layla has brought such great leadership to that. And this inclusive sort of music program that is blossoming and growing in new ways. I mean, the band will be here next week, right? And all of that is part of what we do when we give to this church, is we're giving to support programming for music, buy sheet music. Layla's already dreaming about our summer music Sunday and like doing this, and already I'm like, summer, when is that? So I just really appreciate the leadership and enthusiasm, and I want you to know that each of you contributes to that when you donate to this church. We have a staff that we support and care for very much, and Layla is part of that. And I want to just thank her. We didn't even pay her extra to have these darling children playing music for you so that you will give more money. So if you are in a generous mood, please give generously to this community with a focus and a heart for music today. So with that, the offertory will be gratefully received. I try not to be in every one of that family's home movies, but I always, anyway, sit behind the lurker behind the performance. Anyway, so that's why I'm here. let's say our offertory response, which is our amazing mission at this church, which is kind of another like little helpful instruction book about how to love folks, right? We give these gifts freely, committed to our mission to care, create the loving community, awaken hearts and minds, resist injustice and act with compassion, embrace life and care for the earth. To this work, we dedicate our offerings. I would invite you to rise in body and spirit and follow Pam. I'm going to not sing because I'm going to learn something new today. So please rise.
Ours be the poems of all tongues, all things of loveliness and worth, all arts, all ages, and all songs, one life, one beauty on the earth. Ours be the poems of all tongues, all things of loveliness and worth, all arts, all ages, and all songs, one life, one beauty on the earth.
Please be seated. It is really just all about love, right? Like, it's so refreshing to just go ahead and plant that seed when you're having trouble getting along with someone, if you're trying to figure out how to celebrate someone, if you're having a bad day. I have a grandma who taught me this. It's amazing all the people that teach you this. But my Appalachian grandma taught me to just love people, especially if they were kind of hard and awful. And I've told this story before, and I think it's critically important right now in the world as it is unfolding. My elder grandma, who had suffered many strokes, sat and watched on September 11th. And she said, the men in those planes must have been so sad. So let's take that gift of recontextualizing things in love, even when it's hard, and use it as our spark to go out and love the world. And that's so what? Want to come up and help me, Rich, or you want me? All right. He forgot. I had helped him out with having some work to do. Okay, all right. Please join me in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but keep the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world. Announcements. I have 2 announcements. Okay, you can all line up. Here's the announcement lineup. I wrote Camille is not responsible for writing in the order of service that we need RE teachers. That was me. Have you seen the amazing children in this place? Aren't they worth taking care of? What if you, who have been here more than 6 months, volunteers once a month to volunteer in religious education? Have you seen how cute the babies are? We are struggling with nursery workers right now. Not that they're awful people, but people get sick, and it's winter, and they don't get paid $1 million because it's a nursery on Sunday. If you know someone who would fill that role, please let us know. If you are someone who likes to hold babies, also, there might be a place for you in the nursery just once a month. So think about how we can help welcome families and children into this space and not have the stress of a closed nursery, and not have a mom in church who would really, or a parent or a dad or aunt or grandma or whoever, who is really, really just needs a break from people kicking seats in front of them because it's been a long week. And also, I want to say with that, every child is welcomed in this service, and I love kid noises. They don't bother me a bit. So I enjoy having the babies in here, but let's take care of each other, and let's help recommit ourselves to religious education. So that's my my soapbox, and I will hand over the mic for other soapboxes, or not. I don't have an actual box to stand on, but here we go. Say who you are, please.
I'm Bill Dornbush.
And I'm Jennifer Dornbush.
Hey, Jennifer, what happens next week?
Oh, it's the food collection for the Chattanooga Area Food Bank.
Oh, cool. So when I know that you were always shopping for stuff for the food bank, and I thought I'd ask, how do you do it?
Well, look, I've got this wonderful app on my phone, and it has all the week's specials on it. Oh, I'm sorry. Including the buy one, get one free. And right now, this week, I can get peanut butter, buy one, get one free. And I know the food bank needs a lot of protein. I also see that canned goods are on sale, 10 for $10, and I can buy all kinds of beans, and those are really good for protein.
Okay, some ideas for shopping. We'll be shopping for this week, and please, all of you, do the same thing and bring in your donations for food for the collection for next week. Hunger never stops.
Good morning. Am I right here? Okay, I'm Jen, and I'm going to talk to you today about the auction that is coming up this coming Saturday. So we have less than a week. I'm sure you've seen the arbor out there with the grape leaves. You've seen people wandering around with grapevines on their heads. This is all advertising for our auction next week. We hope that you all will come. If you want to come that night, you need to have a ticket. They are $15 each if you buy them today. If you buy them at the door, they are $20 each. The ticket price that gets you in the door covers food, and we posted the menu out there so you can go browse that and see what's available for dinner and dessert. You will have live entertainment. We have a band. We have a singer-songwriter who's playing for us. A lot of cool stuff. We're going to have games, and you also have fellowship time with your church community. So all of that is included in your ticket price. Bidding is optional. Of course, we want you to bid on things because it's a fundraiser. But if you want to just come and have social time with your community, you're welcome to do that too. If you do want to bid on items, you will need to register for a bidder number. A ticket, an admission ticket, and a bidder number are not the same thing. They're two separate things. If you're not sure what you have, please go see Terry afterwards, and she has all that information to make sure that you've got all the things that you need to come on Saturday and participate. We will also have a bar that night. Bar drinks are available for suggested donation prices. Those are also out there on the menu.
We're your bartenders.
Right here, okay? It'll be fun over there. That menu is also out there, so please go take a look. We have cocktails, we have mocktails, and non-alcoholic beer for those that want those items. We also have a nice selection of wines. So go take a look there. The kids downstairs, they have a children's program, okay? Kids who want to go hang out downstairs are free admission. You do not have to pay for them. Just by being here, they have games to play, they have dinner served, they have a lot of playtime with their friends. They do have a kids auction downstairs. If the kids want to bid on something in that auction, it's $10, okay? That is optional, so your kids can come, have supper, and play. That's free. If they want to bid, it's $10, okay? If the kids are old enough that they want to come hang out upstairs with the adults and eat the food that we have up here, they do have to pay for admission. So think about where your kids might want to be, okay? If you are working at the auction, so I'm working the bar, I still have to buy a ticket. If you're in the band, you have to buy a ticket. Everybody has to buy a ticket to walk in the door that night. So
Even me.
even Reverend Mandy has to buy a ticket to come in that night. So if you are working in the auction, please buy your ticket today so you only pay $15 for that. Let's see, did I miss anything? Cleanup after. Yes, we need more volunteers for the cleanup crew. There'll be a lot. This whole room is going to get dismantled. Everything's going to be transformed, and we need people who are willing to put that stuff back at the end of the night. So if you are willing at all to do that, please go see Terry and let her know about that. If you have any questions, I'll be back by the menus. If you have any questions about those things, Terry will be back there. We can preview all of the auction items. They're back there on a computer. Get information, but please come and see us today so we can get you squared away. Okay, thank you.
What if I want to participate in community, but 15 is too steep for me?
Oh, if you would like to come to the auction, but 15 is too steep for you, I have extra tickets. They're imaginary, but I will give you one. So you're welcome to see me for any and if there's ever a charge for anything around here and you need access, I'm always here for y'all.
Hello, I'm Bart Solomon. I'm going to talk about some of the fun Night at the Vineyard themed issues or things that we have for the auction. The first is a raffle, and the second is a wine tasting class, okay? Last week, Bill Derrickson was up here doing his usual great sales job for the raffle of our wine that we do every year. And he pointed out to everybody that this year we really upped the ante and we have a $250 value for our auction wine instead of the normal $100. But these are special wines, right? If you've always wanted to go to the hotbed of wine, red wine production around the world, if you want to age your wine, but all you ever really seem to do is age it from the grocery store to your house.
That's me.
Okay. This collection of wine for the auction, tickets are $5 a piece, for the raffle, $5 a piece or 5 for $20. Consists of 6 wines from around the world, famous wine producing regions. These wines are all 6 to 12 years old. It includes Rioja from Spain, Sangiovese from Tuscany, Shiraz from Australia, Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa Valley, Malbec from Argentina, and Merlot from Bordeaux, France. A very special collection of wine for the raffle. So the second thing is a wine tasting class. You've heard of Chardonnay and Pinot Grigio. You're not really sure the difference. You know the difference, but you'd like to be able to understand the difference between acidity and structure and tannins, right? You like Pinot Noir, you think, but you'd really like to taste the difference between that and Cabernet Sauvignon. So I'm teaching a wine tasting class as part of the auction. It's an extra $10 for the 4 wines that you'll be tasting. There's only 12 spots, unless it's so popular that maybe we'll do it twice, but we'll see. But please sign up for that if you're interested in the wine tasting class, either today or at the auction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Christian or Christian. There was no wine from Austria, but anyway, maybe that's what I need to contribute next year, right? I know. So for this coming week, Monday yoga in here, as we kind of created a space in here to make it more comfortable for us. Everyone is invited, any levels. This Monday, tomorrow at 6 p.m. here. So if you haven't had the chance to join us, try it out. I mean, it's really a lot of fun. We have a great teacher in Rachel Clark. Second, for coming Sunday for Forum, we're going to talk about, take a short look at a TED Talk about deep fakes, the creativity of it, and what does this artificial intelligence mean for our future? What does it mean for our news? So as you've probably read a bit, We would really love to hear your kind of take on that. We're going to look at that. It's a discussion group. It's truly kind of interactive group for an hour. This is this coming Sunday at 9:30. We meet downstairs in the forum room, and at 9:45 we start the program.
What about potluck?
Is there potluck this week?
Oh, did I say only in a week from now?
It was
Well,
last.
It was last week. So the next one is in a
I
week.
know, but tell them about it. Nobody came.
Oh, it was Valentine's Day. So
Oh.
nobody came to the potluck.
I'll talk about that next Sunday. Next Sunday.
Advocacy Day for the Gun Safety Coalition is just a little over a week away. The free bus from Chattanooga is filling up. I'm Judy, by the way. If you've registered, let me know so I can follow up with that. Seems to be a little glitching here and there with the registration process. If you think you want to go and haven't registered yet, also let me know that so I can follow up on that. And we have about 10 to 12 seats left on the, again, free bus that's going. Will take us there. We'll leave here about 8:45, return here about 7, and I can provide you with more details on that. We hope to get more people from the church there. If you have more questions, just see me. Thank you.
So, do you have anything else? Nope. Oh, I thought you were getting up. You're getting up for the post loop. I got you. That's a good idea. All right. I will be here at the auction next week, but I won't be here on Sunday. We're going to be welcoming a visiting minister, and Reverend Pam will be helping with that. Be kind and nice to our visitors. But she's going to talk about heroes and the importance of heroes in our life, and that means I get to hang out at the auction as late as I want, because I'm not coming probably in the morning, but you should come to Sunday morning church, even if you're at the auction. So, do as I say, not as I do. With that, go take your sparks out into the world. Take the love, share it the way you can. Be creative. Take quarters to the laundromat for people. Leave a little note on someone's car this week. Pick up trash, do kind things, remember the folks that are unhoused. And our service here is just beginning as we leave. Have a wonderful week, and I love all of you. Thank you.